Hello, this is Mark, Liberty Mark 222. There's Kitty. Hey, Kitty. I just wanted to talk today about the stock market. I've been thinking a lot about where the stock market is and what's keeping it propped up. Because normally it should be a lot lower. I'm thinking probably down 75%. It should have crashed. It should have been down about a year and a half ago, but they pumped it back up. And usually what happens, well, always what happens, when you don't let a market correct itself, it makes it even worse. It corrects even worse. And so right now they have, the Federal Reserve has got 0% interest, and it's giving its members, banks, there's JP Morgan, Citibank, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, all these banks, they're giving them this money and they're buying stocks and they're pumping up these prices. This is artificial, total artificial. You got fake money buying these stocks that are pumping up these prices. Now, everybody has been trained to look at the stock market, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq. They look at those indices and they say, "Oh, that it must be, the economy must be doing good or bad or whatever." But it has nothing to do with anything, really. These markets are so manipulated. And so I think what's about ready to happen is that because countries are getting off the dollar standard, because the dollar's ever since like Bretton Woods in 1944, we've had the dollar as the world reserve currency. But that was set up with the dollar and gold as the gold is the reserve, because we had all the gold after World War II. And everybody said, okay, well, the dollar represents so much gold, and they could exchange that dollar for gold. Well, in 1971, when Nixon took us off that standard, and before that even, they couldn't you can't exchange your dollars for gold anymore. So it used to be, well, the standard was $32 an ounce for gold. And so just in my dad's lifetime, he was born in 1932, okay, he could have got an ounce of gold for $32 an ounce. And now, look at it now. We got the price of gold is about $1,600 an ounce. I mean, that is a huge increase. Let's say he, instead of, that is a huge, what's that telling you is that the dollar has just devalued so much. That's a huge decrease in the value of the dollar. What's that? 32 times 3 is $100. That's 16 times 3. So that's what, 42 times. So 140. So the gold has gone up 42 times since that time. So basically, we reneged on our agreement to be a world currency. And so the other countries of the world, they're like, okay, we don't want to use dollars anymore, because all the United States doing is inflating this dollar. They're taxing, basically we're taxing all the countries in the world, because as the dollar depreciates, it depreciates all over the world. If Russia or China or especially China and Japan, they have any dollars, anything denominated in dollars, it's getting decreased every day. And so they're setting up their own barter system where they're bypassing the dollar. Well, what are they going to do with all these extra dollars that they got these trillions of dollars. Well, they're gonna try and cash it in somehow. They're gonna buy something in the United States or somewhere that they can use dollars. So they can, let's say they use, they could buy oil real easy with that, or they could buy gold, silver, commodities. They might want to buy land. So those kind of things. Or they could buy stocks, let's say. But if I was somebody rich, and I saw that they were lending money to these big banks to prop up the price of the stock market, you think I would be buying stocks? No, I'm not going to buy stocks. I'm going to buy something that's undervalued. And the most undervalued things right now, especially, is silver. And so I don't see how there's any way they can keep the price of silver down. It's going to have to explode here real soon. And I don't see how they can keep the price of stocks up very long, because at one point it's going to pop this whole bubble. Well, we'll talk to you later. Thanks, bye.